Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tattooing Network.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
John Archiquette.
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
Matt Turner.
I'm not afraid.
And Joshua Gray.
You will be.
What's going on, Outriders? John, Josh, and Matt coming to you live from Power 9 Games here in Las Vegas, Nevada. What's going on, gentlemen?
Hi, guys.
Hey, what's
How
up?
you doing?
We got Pruneface.
Yay!
So while the rest of us were working today, Matt was assembling the new Rebel Commandos and Han set, and got a picture of a nice up-close Pruneface.
Great.
I mean, that's what we're all here for, right? Pruneface news?
That's, between that and barricades, yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the most
The hallmarks of our...
Barricada.
Oh, Jesus. We've gone like two episodes.
I know, right? We gotta keep it current.
No.
You gotta stay consistent.
Because
Okay.
I'm just
I'm happy
waiting.
you're happy.
I am just waiting for to be at a major convention like LVO, Adepticon, Nova, and somebody across from me goes, Barricada.
No, please.
Not realizing
please,
that
people,
where
never-
this started, and that would be like such a moment of self-validation for myself because I don't get many. So that would be awesome. Just knowing that I had started something that is perpetuated throughout an entire community would be awesome.
Well, that would be predicated upon you actually attending a big Legion event.
There's that.
I was going to say,
true.
did you get your LVO tickets yet?
Not yet. I've got a
John finally got his.
Because I bought mine.
I've got mine.
So
Hey,
you may
Josh.
not actually...
stand by for news, as Paul Harvey used to say.
Well, you better get it before they sell out. 'Cause
Yeah, I know.
they're going pretty quick.
Yay.
Yeah, I got that one and Sunday doing the 40K doubles, but I'm trying to figure out what to do on Saturday. So
Play X-Wing.
You know somebody else that plays 40K?
I'm sorry.
You know somebody else that plays 40K?
I do, yeah. There's,
okay.
there's a couple of them.
Cool.
But yeah, there's a couple of cool painting sessions that I've kind of been looking at, and maybe we'll talk about
teaching?
that. I'm not teaching. No,
You should.
There's a lot to learn. There's some of these guys who have like these showcase models and stuff that I'm.
Hey, where do all the models that you paint sit in this store?
Well, in a showcase.
Thank
here,
you. Okay.
but
Humble brag.
we're talking about like
Local showcases versus world.
not to
He ain't got no crystal brush in his case.
I think it'd be difficult to paint with too. But anyway, yeah.
A true craftsman would be able to.
Yeah.
That's
And
probably
if
true.
you're
So
Yeah.
you, sir, are not a true craftsman.
I never purported that I was one.
Magic
I
was
was
inside
saying
you
you
all
were.
along.
Oh, well, thanks. Although I did paint a pink dragon for Matt within 24 hours. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yes. On display now. I got more orcs for you eventually too.
I think I'm actually...
But now I've got Han and Rebel Commandos for you as well.
Well, I have to paint my own as well, so I think I'll probably just have to do a double
I just
batch
want
order.
to see you paint one mini. Just one.
So I was actually
Just
doing
one.
my priority supplies, spray painting
No.
the crap out
No.
of it. You did
No.
not specify.
God.
Therefore,
Damn it.
I win.
Is there a 3-color minimum?
Maybe, I don't know. Who cares?
It can't be a box, though, at least.
It's a box.
At least
What do
make
you
it a
want? It's
moisture
box color.
evaporator that you paint.
I did that
Jeez.
too.
Do you know, does LVO have a paint requirement?
I don't know.
for
I have to
playing a
go look
tournament?
at the requirements, but
Oh.
I
Is
think
it-
they're
is
one of
it
those
a-
tournaments that does a three color.
what was it?
At least
I
for
assume it
Warhammer.
would probably be the same as like Gen Con and whatnot.
Probably.
I don't think for Legion you can enforce a painting because it's not in the rules. It's
I mean,
not,
you can. It's up to the tournament
Yeah,
organizer.
Yeah, I haven't seen any tournament rules for it yet, so...
We'll find out.
I think it would.
My stuff will be done by then, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
But I will at some point when it's the most, inopportune moment, I will shout out, "This man didn't paint his minis."
Oh no, I've been outed. Please do not peek behind the curtain.
He's a tracer.
What would you call somebody?
What's a Nubian?
But speaking of which, look at the sculpts that we got for these. Actually, you know what? Let me not jump ahead of myself yet.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the Han and the Rebel Troopers in a little bit because
I want to hear what you think of that new Resistance trailer. that
Oh
dropped.
boy. Okay, so Star Wars news.
All right, that's enough. Josh, what do you think about
It's too bright and shiny for me. Like the color palette is just very
pastel. It's a very pastel.
You just
look
got to
to
get
it.
accustomed to it. I think.
But I think that's that animation style. I think if you look at the new Voltron on Netflix. I think it kind of looks the same kind of animation style. I think they use a little bit more deeper colors, but as far as the way things are drawn physically, it reminds me a lot of the Voltron show.
Was it called like cell shading or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, it's animation. It's hand-drawn animation over 3D modeling is essentially what it is. One of the first shows that I ever saw that did that was actually the Blue Harvest, the first Family Guy Star Wars thing.
Oh, really?
If you watch it, all of the ships are 3D,
You're right.
but they're animated. So basically, what you're doing is you're cell shading a 3D object via computer software. So Resistance is the same thing. That's what they're, especially with the ships and things like that. The thing I thought was cool, you know how Star Wars, the new movies, has been updating legacy ships. You get the T-70 X-Wing, the RZ-2 A-Wing. One of the ships prominently featured in there looks exactly like an R-41 Star Chaser, which is...
Whoa, okay, you're going to have to
Yeah.
on that
Well,
for me.
okay,
Tell
sorry.
me.
I
was thinking maybe like a Z-98 or something like that.
No. It's a secondary ship like the Z-95 was in the original expanded universe. It's flown by a lot of smugglers and a lot of pirate bands and things like that.
That's cool.
But it was really cool that I'm like, I saw it immediately, and I'm like, oh, nice. They're updating they're bringing stuff. Again, they're using the animated shows to bring older stuff back into canon, which I thought was
that's
really,
the thing
really
that
cool.
I've been saying from the beginning is they decanonized everything, and now they just get to bring back what they want. So from a clean slate, they're adding all the nice, pretty, shiny things. So what part of the expanded universe did this Star Chaser feature in?
I first saw it in the X-Wing games. And TIE Fighter games.
Okay.
And then it was featured in...
How do you remember that? I played those games, and I have no knowledge of this.
How could you actually tell what ships looked like in there? It was like
It's
4
not bad.
pixels on the entire screen.
We had imagination, John. Imagination.
But yeah, it was just... I don't know.
For a hater of all things Star Wars
I have no
cartoon.
idea. I can't tell you. I don't know.
Fine. Hey,
but then it was also
sure
in
Wikipedia
one of the
has it
Force Unleashed in some cutscenes
okay.
for the Force Unleashed game. So yeah, I mean it was
the first game, and there was no second.
Yeah, there was.
No, there wasn't.
You're right. There wasn't.
There was just the first.
There was a game that had a label on it that said Force Unleashed 2. However,
is this like you guys don't want to talk about the game, or
the first Force Unleashed was really good.
Okay,
it was a lot of fun.
The second Force Unleashed was just like
clearly a cash
what?
grab.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're pretending it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I see what we're doing.
The Force Unleashed was
just like Highlander 2.
Just like there was never a Boondock Saints 2.
I mean, it was fun.
No,
it was definitely not as good as the first one.
Okay, so anyway, so you guys are both on board. Resistance looks cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
How you doing on those Rebel episodes?
Changing
the subject.
Changing the subject. Yeah. Let's go to Star Wars Legion because that's something I am down here for.
Okay, fair enough. You just pick and choose your Star Wars. I see.
Well, I like the movies and the cartoons.
Okay, so we're all celebrating Pruneface Day.
So we are celebrating. We're
Hero
definitely celebrating
of
Pruneface.
the Rebels.
Yes.
Josh, you got something?
Yeah, real quick. I'm gonna do the terrible thing that you do on radio because I'm gonna show you guys some pictures here.
Boy. Okay, guys, you get to
so the blue and orange ship there from Resistance.
Oh yeah, that's
right?
dope.
Okay.
Oh,
right?
look
so
at
that
that
ship, right? And then as I bring up a different page here,
it looks not unlike an old
shoe.
What was
old
it?
wooden ship,
a wing commander ship. I think it was.
Oh yeah,
the Hornet is what I want to say. Like the first starter ship has got that kind of rounded
front to it.
Yeah, like an upside down spoon.
Right. And now I'm trying to bring up this picture, but my phone is
using the theater of the mind's eye.
You
to
are,
bring our
yeah.
listeners
should I make sound effects for it?
Ooh, yeah, please.
So then
No,
there's
you're
a
doing it
really
wrong.
bad
You're
picture,
doing it wrong.
but that's the Wikipedia from the Legacy R41 Star Chaser.
Okay. clearly recognizable as a ship, John.
Obviously,
I don't know.
I don't know
Shut
why
up,
I didn't
guys.
think of that.
What? I think good job, Josh.
I
Well done.
I identified it straight off as doing something you shouldn't do. I'll post the pictures on our website so people can see.
Hey,
There you
there we
go.
go.
As a reference.
Using the magic of the internet.
Yay! Just imagine it's an old-timey radio show, and you're sitting by the fire,
All right, back to Pruneface.
right? Oh, I would just like to say one thing real quick. Black dice are a terrible idea on defense. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we recanted that
Before we
one
get
pretty
into the
quick.
content
Yeah.
here, I'll go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Somebody, you guys brought it up in private chat, and we're just kind of like, God, I hope nobody notices.
Oh, they noticed.
Yeah, I know. Somebody asked me on Discord this morning, like, what purpose would a black dice serve? And I'm like, at this point, to point out the fact
To
that I'm an
embarrass
idiot and
you
I
on
don't
a
know what I'm
podcast,
talking
yeah.
about. Pretty much, that's it. So
Well,
yeah,
you were kind of shooting from the hip.
I
And None of
was.
us was
Yeah.
running the numbers right there.
Well,
to
you know
say,
what?
No, that's
FFG
dumb."
might not think it's a good idea, but we here think it's a good idea. So
Right.
let's go ahead and make our own black dice.
but
and
here's the thing.
It'll
We'll
just
split the
be the
people.
same exact results as the white
But here's the
guys.
thing:
Exactly,
if they ever introduce a mechanic where you can limit surges,
yeah.
or like, oh, you have this token on you, you don't get surges. Now you have space for a black dice.
There you go.
You've been dwelling
So,
on this all
I have.
week, haven't you? Okay,
I've been
gotcha.
retconning this. This is
job,
my
man.
own personal 12 parsecs. Like, right? It's like, how do you do time by using distance? This is my own personal retcon of that kind of thing.
So Josh's expanded universe now includes the black dice concept. Well, that's exciting. Thank you for sharing.
no
that,
worries.
Josh.
I just wanted to get that off my chest because obviously it's been bothering me.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Back to Pruneface. Please?
Hero of the rebellion.
I'm doing
talk about
Hey, I got
Pruneface
one
now?
more thing. Real quick.
Oh my god, I just want to talk about
you already
Pruneface.
No,
have
I'm
one
just
thing.
stalling here so we don't have to talk about terrorists for 20 minutes.
But he's an eye patch.
He's probably an Imperial spy.
That makes him a pirate,
Yes.
still a terrorist.
Maybe.
He's just more open about it. He's comfortable with what he is.
Or he's just missing an eye.
Maybe.
That too.
Or
How did he? I wonder how did he lose it?
let's make a narrative for Pruneface. How did
Hero of the rebellion.
listeners please submit your best story for how Pruneface lost an eye?
You know, there probably is a story out there, and
Nope, it got retconned.
Nope.
It will be the new canon.
And I swear to God, if somebody comes and
I
says,
will
"Well, on the
submit a story for
Wikipedia,
that.
in the legend section of Wikipedia, it says we don't
There-
care. I
under
don't
the-
care what Wikipedia says.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what Wikipedia
the
says.
Dark Horse comic for Star Wars back in 1992.
Yeah, I don't care.
Had a story.
I don't care. If I had to read a
okay.
comic 20 years ago, I don't care.
30 years
Make
ago.
up your own original content or GTFO.
All right, so we got Pruneface. We also have
Get to the front
the
office.
calamari.
Hey, wait, guys. One second.
Stop.
Man, derailed. Okay, please, John, continue. I'm interested.
I'm riding this train like Casey Jones. All right, so
The sculpts are good.
they're good sculpts.
Yeah.
A lot of people gave a lot of criticism to Han especially, but some of the
I think we've talked about the painting here before about their showcase models.
yeah, and I really
You need
like
to
the
have a
sculpts.
makeup artist go through and approve.
Find one of those YouTube girls that
Yeah.
does the contouring videos.
Oh yeah, see
the
that's
time
what
lapses.
Han needed was some contour.
Right.
Need to pluck those brows and
Does
highlight.
this make
his,
my Javier Bardem meme invalid now?
I don't know. I mean, did Javier Bardem do a lot of contouring before his?
I don't know. But
I'm lost, and I'm just happy to be here.
yeah.
But honestly,
Thanks,
like
guys.
it's a good sculpt, and I like the other Rebel Commandos as well. I got a calamari in there, Mon
Calamari sniper guy, that's cool.
which I'm super stoked about. So obviously, my 2-man team is going to be Pruneface and the calamari.
Oh yeah, that's your sniper team, right?
I feel like that's also like a really good talk radio show somewhere in the Galactic Universe.
Pruneface and the
Pruneface and the calamari in the mornings.
Somebody made a really good point. Like, why do you have the orange fish-headed guy as your concealed sniper? Which I think is a really good point.
I mean, he can wear camo paint too.
What if he's got night vision?
Come on, man.
I just thought the really big eyes would help him scope in.
There you go.
It's-
I think that
that's
explains
it. Right?
it.
He's got a fisheye lens.
Yeah, I mean, just throw some camouflage paint on him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. No.
Do I need to tell the calamari
Rambo
story?
Mari.
Yeah, let's give us the calamari story. It's pretty good.
So we're at Olive Garden over the weekend with my kids, and my daughter orders calamari. She's almost 9, likes fried calamari, so that's what she wanted for dinner. I go, hey, my daughter's name is Maddie. I'm like, hey, Maddie, come over here. And I pick up the phone, and I'm like, you know what, calamari? And she can read, too. And
At 9 years old?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, big words.
Oh, okay. Like calamari.
Yeah. So I open Wikipedia, and I pull it to the Mon Calamari page. I'm like, Maddie, look. And she goes, Mon Calamari? I'm eating Admiral Akbar? Cool. And then it goes back and keeps eating. So, awesome. Yeah.
It's your offspring.
That's such a proud dad moment right there.
Man.
That she made the connection.
Well, I'll have the insensitive B with a side of FU.
It was not
We're
a
all
trap.
thinking it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. So, yeah, we can make a two-man team with the Pruneface, with Admiral Akbar. The models are cool, but let's talk about the rules, because,
Yeah.
I mean, we're already heard from a few people who are doing the tabletop simulator that they're tearing it up over there.
Did we know what format they were taking? Was it just sniper teams?
I think everybody's taking sniper teams.
Sniper teams seem really good.
So what's sniper team looking at here?
16 points for the basic sniper team. You get the heavy weapon team. So you've got to take one of the heavy weapons options, and that becomes your team leader, which is actually really cool. It's got low profile. It's got Scout 2 and Sharpshooter 1. I really like having Sharpshooter on these guys.
Nice.
But
Makes sense being a sniper and everything.
GH-447 Sniper, which is a 28-point upgrade, has the high velocity rule, so you can't spend dodge tokens, which is super cool because you've only got a black and a white dice. It's minimum range 1 to table. So you can pop these guys in a corner, and if they got line of sight, they are chucking dice at them. And it has
Nobody puts
Pierce
Pruneface
1.
in a corner.
I'm going to put Pruneface and the calamari weekdays on your radio in the corner, sending out things, putting suppression tokens out on things, and capping one guy a turn at least.
So, yeah, the ability to negate dodge immediately makes me think, oh, this guy's a Jedi killer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you use him
The guy's an anybody killer.
Yeah, but
I
there
mean,
goes, nothing deflected back at you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's also a pretty consistent way to get suppression out there, I think, too. So, we're worried about somebody like... So my activity for the week was to try and get airspeeders in a list and protect them as much as possible. And one unit of these guys is going to be featuring in that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the other options we have are the Proton Charge Saboteur. I'll pass that over to you.
Le Saboteur.
It's actually a pretty cool sculpt with a guy holding like the little det pack Han Solo was juggling in the bunker.
Now, I know a lot of folks are talking about running multiple sniper teams, right? And it's fairly cheap. It's something like 16 and 28 points, so it's 42 points. I'm bad at math. 44 points. Yep. So it's not,
not too cheap.
Not bad.
I'd be kind of tempted to take like either your emergency stims or maybe duck and cover just to get them. But I think what you really want to do is just keep them as far away from trouble because they've got the entire range of the table to shoot, barring obstacles.
Here's the other thing, though.
Okay.
If you decide to go points heavy and take a full squad of the Rebel Commandos with a sniper, okay, it's 88 points. It's a lot of points. But you're surging on a black die.
Yeah.
On attack, surge, defensive surge, and range outside of range 1, which, let's be honest, how many troop-on-troop engagements happen inside of range 1?
I like to get in them with my fleet troopers,
but not generally not a lot, right?
Not a lot, no.
So most
Flame
of the
troopers?
shooting, most of the shooting you're going to do is range 2 and 3 with your regular troops.
Usually, sure.
If you run these like a core unit, right? You've got 5 black, 1 white, sharpshooter 1, pierce 1, high velocity. Ouch.
And that adds it to their entire stack, so they can't use dodge on any of that.
Right.
Real nice.
That is really
very
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
So that's really good at killing other rebels.
Exactly.
Exactly,
Yeah. I don't discount. It's expensive. It's the same cost as 2 bare bones core units. But I wouldn't discount it.
No,
especially
I like
with
that they surge both ways, like the fleet troopers.
right. But pairing that sniper with a full squad can do some work too. That's rough.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be some interesting combinations and stuff with those guys. I will, I'm picking one up today, and I plan on putting in a list.
Yeah.
Messing around with that. I'm not sure what I'm going to substitute out.
Yeah.
Maybe drop an ATRT, but.
Right.
I mean, they're doing well on Tabletop Simulator, so
sure.
I want to see what all the hype's about.
I want to try out the Proton Charge Saboteur, though. See what I can do with that. I think it'd be a lot of fun with like the 1.4Ds when they come out. You can maybe lay some mine defenses so they don't try to get out there. Yeah.
Right.
Because basically it's an action to put out a charge and then an action to detonate it.
Right.
And it does a red and 2 white.
So what's the range?
Crits.
What's the range to be able to detonate it?
Anywhere. It's just an action.
Yeah.
So you set it down and go.
You just boop. You just But it has to be
hit the
detonated.
button. Haven't you seen the movies?
Yes.
So
If you'd have watched Rebels, you'd have seen this
oh,
by
man,
now.
come on.
Okay, there we go. There
There it is.
Now.
There
Now I
it
need to
is.
see it.
But it has to be detonated by a unit that has the detonate keyword. You can't have the unit die and then have just fleet troopers walk up and be like, boop, and fire it off.
So then the mine just sits there for the rest of the game.
It just sits there. Yeah, it becomes inert basically. If nobody can
But if you
some
had
Ewok
2
calf
units,
farmer.
Yes, you did. Yeah, if you had 2 units, one could detonate the other's mines. So
There you
if
go.
you had
That sounds fine.
if you had one unit just laying down fire while the other unit dropped 2, you could then detonate both of them on the same turn, one action
got
each
a
unit.
beautiful image of some like combat engineers running up and laying
Right.
down their satchel charges and cackling gleefully as they detonate the entire battlefield.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun. I'll definitely play
it
around
does.
with them. But the snipers are, I think, what everybody is, as we said, is super hot for.
Right. The only thing that really concerns me about the Rebel troopers being out now is that I'm concerned it may unbalance the game somewhat, where Rebels have access to tricks and strategies that the other side doesn't. When
Your concerns are noted and disregarded.
Right.
Please carry on.
yes, say the
Let us
Rebel
have our
say the
toys.
Rebel players, right?
Mom, Jimmy got more for Christmas than I did.
Oh, that's not in the spirit of the season.
Yes, you did have Veers and Snow Troopers come out prior to Leia and Fleet Troopers.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I don't think, and this isn't just biased Imperial player speaking,
Sure.
but at the time, the Rebels already had kind of a budget commander option in Luke. Luke was kind of the middle ground, right?
Sure.
Vader was a quarter of your army points to put him out there. That kind of brought things back into parity a little bit, in my opinion. Snow Troopers were a side grade. They were really good at one trick, but that one trick took a lot to pull off. Right.
Okay.
So it wasn't really, nobody, aside from Nick Freeman, is building a list of 6 snow troopers.
On a dare.
Right?
Yeah.
On a dare. Right? And it's a reason that that's a dare, because nobody in their right
Move,
mind
shoot,
would
move,
say.
man. Let's do it.
Right.
But
Okay.
but it worked. I mean, the
Sure.
fact is, like, you
For
can
him, it worked,
make
yes.
most,
I mean-
even the airspeeder, if you use it correctly, there's nothing
Right.
that's that, OP or that underpowered.
But the snow troopers and it'd be the same thing if it was fleet troopers, right? It's a side grade. You're not necessarily introducing something onto the battlefield that absolutely nobody, the other side, another faction, I should say, has absolutely no analog for. I would have liked to see for this, instead of doing Han Commandos and then down the road Boba Fett Scouts, do Scouts and Commandos and then do Han and Boba Fett. Because let's be honest, Han and Boba Fett at the same time makes a lot of sense, right?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think,
There might be some production issues in there, but who knows?
gee,
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll talk about production
You
issues later.
stop. We will.
Well, let's
Yes.
let's finish up. Let's finish up with
Narrator.
this first.
Surprise. They did.
will.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen this approached maybe a little bit differently, because I think it'll have there's the potential there for negative impact in.
What was the results of the 3 days of Gen Con? How many Imperial versus
I
Rebel
believe that
wins?
of the 3 winners, 2 of them were Imperial players with 2 different lists, and every Rebel list that
You had your
played-
day in the sun there,
but the
Scum.
factions there were balanced.
Okay,
at the
yes,
time.
the factions were balanced.
Right?
However, the Imperials, Nick Freeman backed us up on this. The Imperials have multiple award-winning lists or tournament-winning
competitive lists. Yeah.
whereas the Rebels have 1. We have 1 build.
Mm-hmm.
We have Leia, we have Luke, and we have Trooper Spam with a couple ATRTs thrown in there. you guys have, the bike list, you've got the ATST. There's several ways to run Imperials and make them good. Rebels don't have that. So if we have another way to run, it should add some versatility.
Honestly, as somebody that plays both factions, I'm really happy to see some diversity in my opponent's field as well, instead of more Rebel troopers all the time.
Yeah.
So yes, it might be a little bit of gap before we get the Imperial version, but we saw a little bit more variety in the list with Imperial players anyways, so maybe it was a little bit more necessary for the Rebels.
All right, can we talk about my dude Han?
Snipers are going to be murder on bikes, by the way.
Oh, with the ability to.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm so sad.
Oh, snipers are going to be murder on bikes.
Sure.
I know why.
If you got
I'm
3
taking
sniper
snipers
units.
now.
Wait, can you take 3? How many elites?
I think it's
How many special?
two or three.
2 or 3.
Either way.
Oh, gosh.
I think
mean,
it's 2 operative units, I believe.
Yeah.
Can't spend a dodge
No,
token.
not operatives.
I'm sorry.
elites.
It's the elites. Yeah,
elites.
can't spend a dodge token because of the high velocity.
Yeah.
Automatically reduces cover, so there goes your speeder bonus. Oof.
Well, you think if anybody's going to be popping people off the back of bikes, a sniper is
Sure.
gonna
Yeah.
do
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's thematic. It fits.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Or
you've
a
got
Jedi.
if you're running a full group of commandos, you've got the potential to down
You've
a
also
bike a
bought
turn. I
3
mean,
boxes of these
I will
guys.
absolutely be doing that. Who bought 3 boxes of them?
Well, you're going to have to because there's only 1 sniper model per
Oh,
unit.
yeah.
Well, I'm absolutely running a sniper, at least one.
Yeah,
just for
I'm
that,
already
because I
reordering boxes for
hate
next week.
bikes.
So, hey guys, if you're having trouble finding your commandos at your local game store, we got them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about some of the supply stuff later on. But Han, so of course we talk about the Rebel Commandos. Han's the other part of this. What do you see from Han so far? I mean, like, what are the cards looking at? Because we've seen the previews for them and everything, but
Well, they're cardboard and rectangular in nature. Yeah.
they have colors on them.
Are they
too.
full color?
They are.
Wow.
Featuring many of the colors of the rainbow. I won't say all of them, but lots of blacks and grays and whites. But no, I am very excited for Han. He's going straight into the list that I'm going to be playing here. But the command hand, I think, is what I'm excited about.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like he may have the best command cards of any of the leaders we've seen
And
so
Leia's
far.
no slouch. I'm definitely looking
sure.
at pairing him with Leia for this. But
So we kind of, we talked about this a little bit off air. You can only run 2 leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 3 potential leaders. Now, it's the first time we've ever seen this from...
you have to make a
any of the factions.
choice.
You have to choose.
Yeah.
So your choice is Han and Leia.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try them out. But yeah, I've always liked the more rough and tumble aspects of the Outer Rim territories, kind of less Skywalker saga, more smugglers and bounty hunters. So this definitely fits right in there.
Especially if you've got emergency stims on both of them, that makes both of them incredibly
Is that how
tanky.
you do it?
Yeah, I would. Just in case Boba Fett rolls up and ganks you. Oh, pop emergency stims, put those 2 wounds on there. Now I activate, and I get to do something
still
with
do
them
your
before
action,
they die,
sure.
right? And if it's turn 4, turn 5, and you're about to lose them, yeah, I think that's a good use. Don't forget you can. You've also got the option to put Guardian on them and have escorts around with them and have them soak off the damage. But
Could definitely help.
yeah,
Let me make a case for Han and Luke, though. So
I
Han
think
and,
that'd be good too.
Han and Luke have the ability to work up close together. Now, 2 of Han's cards are directly, you got the 0 pip card, which
the distraction one?
means you automatically go first, and the distraction one, which if you're moving up with Han and Luke,
Yeah.
and you're going to be in range of a number of things, you throw a.
Hey, guess what? You've got a face-up token, and hopefully,
Yeah, and
well,
throw.
if you can get him a dodge, I guess he has to activate first.
Well, what you can do is you can play Luke's card that allows him to give. I forget the name of it now.
Well, you're playing 2 command cards now.
Oh, yeah, right. My bad. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I got you. But you could activate him. No. Damn, you kind of need Leia to hand out that stuff, and then you're back to 3 heroes, and you can't do that.
Yep.
There's got to be a way to do this.
Well, and there's some ways you can probably work it out on paper, but just the ability for both of them to kind of move up, operate together, but have Han be a little bit more of a distraction, whereas Luke actually is kind of the hammer.
Yes.
I think that that has some synergy there. But I think you're right with Leia's ability to be a force multiplier and
Yeah.
throwing out dodges like that.
Giving out dodges to both of them.
Especially
and,
once Chewie hits the board,
God.
and Han and
It's gonna be
Chewie
so much fun.
synergize off of each other. That's one action that gets you like 4 tokens. It's ridiculous.
I can't wait to see the
It's
shape of Rebel lists a
stupid.
few months from now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when all those guys are out.
It's stupid action economy. I hate it so much.
Stupid awesome. You get your big Imperial toys that stomp around, and we get heroes. So
Josh is
I've already
never
jumped sides. I
happy.
mean, I play mostly Imperials, but I've already jumped sides for Han Solo now. So
Oh,
I'm saying we.
Wait, so but you also kind of always played under the rule that if you're playing somebody who's using Rebels, you play Imperials, right?
Yeah, but most of the people play Rebels here, so I usually play Imperials.
Oh,
but
okay.
now I'm actually. And hey, I need you to get those airspeeders done soon too.
Okay.
How much does he pay you? To be
Not
his,
enough.
Just-
To be
Not
his
enough.
slave labor.
Just hugs.
That's
all I ask
Turn
for.
around, buddy. Let me.
Which
hug
one
you.
of you is the little spoon?
Okay. So Han Solo, we talked about this several episodes ago when they first leaked him, but 120 points, low profile, which is awesome. We're going to see that more, I think. Gunslinger, also awesome. So you can pew 2 different units. Sharpshooter 1, Uncanny Luck 3. I think he's the only one that has this right now.
For
right?
now.
Yep.
Yeah.
While defending, you may reroll up to 3 defensive dice, which is good because he is only rolling T-shirt saves, but he does surge for crits and blocks, so it's super cool. DL44, so we know Pierce 2 and 2 reds.
Yeah.
Same as Luke's, but he gets to shoot 2 at times. I'm
And
excited.
it's up to range 2, right?
Yep. It's
Yeah.
got 6 health, so...
Not
and
shabby.
then-
Not too
yeah,
shabby at all.
Yeah, two
Which
for
again,
each
I mean,
stat.
and if you Guardian that gets even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he's going to offer a lot of synergy with what we already have for the Rebels, so I can see some cool combinations, and I think over the next few weeks when we get a chance to actually get him on the tabletop, we'll get a better assessment of how he plays.
Yeah, we need to get a game in with him soon. Josh, I'm calling you out.
Ooh.
Bring your Imperials.
Yeah, bring,
Okay.
bring Boba
Let's
Fett
do
and
it.
Scout Troopers. Oh.
Oh. Brutal. There were no
I'm just-
survivors.
I'm just I'm just getting him nice
Kick
and
him in
nice
while
and,
he's
nice
down.
and triggered
Yeah.
for the upcoming.
Oh no, he doesn't need.
Rage
You don't need to poke the bar.
Yeah. I'm trying to stay nice and calm over here because of what we're going to talk about later. So,
well, I feel like we've teased that enough.
Civil discourse.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
civil
That is
discourse.
Anything else we need to talk about with these guys? I mean, we've already talked about a lot of from the preview episodes.
Well, I did
but-
have a list that I was going to try out that I would be happy to share.
Well, hey, let's hear
But
it.
featuring both the Commandos and Han. But we're looking at. So, admittedly, I don't have a lot of upgrades in this list. I was trying to go for maximum, otherwise, troops to play objectives.
Okay.
But I've got Han and Leia, just completely au natural. I was trying to get.
Naked Han and Leia,
Yeah,
just
ooh,
with how
that's
we
hot.
like it.
Yeah, I was trying to get improvised orders in there real hard, but I felt like I was losing too many bodies from the troops. It's okay, Josh. You can think about it. It's good.
No.
Then we've got 3 units of Rebel troopers with an extra trooper each, and then a 4th Rebel trooper, just blanket 40 points. 2 T-47 airspeeders.
Oh,
Yeah.
there it is.
And then a Rebel Commando strike team with sniper rifle, and that comes in at 794 out of 800. My theory is, so I always have trouble protecting my airspeeders. They got the best gun in the game, but they just get shot out of the sky.
Okay.
I'm going to be using Han and Leia to kind of put pressure and having the airspeeders run nearby them. And then I will have a turn where they can farm out some of the shooting that they'll have to attack one of the trooper units instead of the airspeeders, hopefully buying them more time to survive and blow things up.
Okay.
So I want to give that a try, see how it goes. I think it could be a lot of fun, but that is going to be the list I'm trying. Josh, what's your list look like?
Just fly them like bikes. Don't commit them until like turn 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's the idea.
I mean,
Get everybody
that's
else in a position.
Slow roll.
And
Speeder
then-
units are
yeah.
units you got to slow roll.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just stick them in right away.
And then if it looks like there's a unit that's going to be threatening them, have the sniper rifle pop, put a suppression, hopefully to knock out
Exactly.
one of their actions.
Yep.
And try it from there. But I want to give that a go.
So the difficulty that I'm looking at with that is, besides the fact that the
The list
T-47
sucks.
is
You shouldn't
hot
do that. Got
garbage.
it. Thanks, John.
No, but like you're looking at 2 commanders,
Yeah.
2 troopers,
Yeah.
2 operatives or 1 operative?
No operatives because there are no operatives right now.
Special
The
special
elite
forces.
forces,
sorry.
yes.
Special
Yeah.
forces.
So you're looking at a lot of different tokens that are going to be in your order pool, which means that
I might
Very
go
hard
back-
to manipulate.
Yeah, and try to get back the improvised orders to give me some extra wiggle room there. Maybe even try around with the the HQ uplink, just to kind of force hey, I'm taking a token now. Give me that. But points are tight because airspeeders are expensive, plus 2 heroes are expensive. But
And of course, I mean, should you decide to alter that up a little bit and throw Luke in there, you've always got Battle Med, and you can
maybe that
that can help
that's more
mitigate a little bit your
expensive, so
well sure it's
yeah.
more expensive, but you probably have to lose an airspeeder. Oh darn.
No, 2 airspeeders.
But that allows you with battle meditation to kind of mitigate that randomness of I've got 7 different tokens in my bag.
Yeah,
that's hyperbole, but because I never do that.
But that's always how I like to play these kind of games. I love to have mixed arms and a little bit of everything. I also like to have parity in there. That's why I always focus on double ATSTs, double airspeeders, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but there's no worse. Well, there's
I've
lots
got brain
of worse
damage.
feelings,
What can I say?
It's a terrible feeling when you've got 7 order tokens in your pool. 6 of them are troopers, and one of them is the one you don't want, and you draw that one.
Well, hey, improvised orders says, let's try that again. Let's go fishing.
And then throw 41 out of 43 blanks on your defense dice.
Yeah.
Did that happen to somebody?
Oh no! I mean, not that exact scenario. I think it was
okay.
like 38 out of 42 or something.
It was a lot.
That. It was,
0.033%. I do remember that bit.
It was bad. All right,
Anyways,
guys, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit about what the state of the game is and some issues that may be arising.
Tune in every Wednesday to Radio Free Tatooine, a Star Wars podcast that's better than some and worse than others. Take a trip to a water cooler far, far away as we bring some casual, fun conversation into the Star Wars podcasting community. Hosted by me, Sean, my sister Amy, and John. Radio Free Tatooine. We may not know what we're talking about, but we sure know how to record it. For more, visit RadioFreeTatooine.com, a proud member of the Radio Free Tatooine Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network, recorded on location at Power 9 Games. Whether you're looking for the latest releases from Legion, X-Wing, 40K, Magic, or any of our other extensive inventory of board and card games, head to power9games.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER10 to get 10% off your order. Plus, shipping is free on orders over $100. Now, back to the Outriders.
Welcome back, Outriders. John, Josh, and Matt here, Power 9 Games, with your Legion Outriders podcast. Now, we kind of holding Josh back here because he's been champing at the bit to talk about something, but nothing too.
Wait, what is that? What is that? What is that? A shock collar?
It's a recording device.
Shit.
So we can speak verbally.
You
into
leave
the-
that shock collar away from me.
If you use your inside voice, Josh, we won't have to put it on you.
Right. I've heard that before. That's how I ended up with it in the first place.
I'm just gonna go straight for the Mace Windu style pepper spray. I think. It's in a purple can.
The Mace Windu Mace.
My favorite color. You'd be like, look, Josh, it's purple.
That's a line of franchising that LucasArts never went
personal
into.
defense line of You got your mace.
Come on, like,
I mean, he just said it a second ago. Apparently, he missed it.
It just made sense.
Oh,
I get
okay.
it now.
You're just getting it
That's
out.
hilarious.
As soon as he said it,
I'm
I was like,
slow.
Welcome
I
to the
mean,
show, Josh.
I'm the guy that brought you black defense dice. Okay, so
Okay.
all right. So we've been kind of looking at what is the state of the game. So we're 6 months into, or about 6 months into Star Wars Legion.
Yeah, about 6.
And I feel like we're at a point where we could kind of like take a step back and assess like what are we seeing from the game. So the initial newness factor is kind of worn off, and
It's a familiar property.
It's a familiar
now,
property, yeah. Now we can judge things based on what we're seeing here within the Las Vegas meta, and we've got some pretty dedicated players here. But we've seen some struggles that I think seem to be fairly commonplace across the world, really. And Josh, you're a little bit more in tune to the social media scene than I am. No one's talking about this on MySpace right now. So, what are you seeing from the sites here.
So what I'm seeing, I mean, the people online, Reddit, Discord, Facebook, happy with the game, really happy with the game. The problem, and this was something that, like I talked to you, Matt, a week ago, and I'm like, no stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, they're out of print. And I'm like, when did they get back in? And you said,
who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Talking to folks today on Discord, started talking with a lot of the other content creators, bloggers, battle report folks, stuff like that. And we have all seen our numbers starting at about 3 months ago plateau.
Okay.
We're not losing people. We're not gaining anybody else either.
Okay.
So I think the two things are linked. Where if I'm a new player and I want to get into Star Wars Legion right now, I can't walk into your store and do it.
Okay.
And I think that's a concern. The game
Absolutely,
is great.
That's a concern.
The game is great, but I mean, how this is episode 25, and we started 2-3 episodes before the game released. Weekly release schedule. Game's been out 5 months, and now basic units to be able to play the game and attract new players to the game can't be had. That's not good.
Yeah.
And it's concerning because we should still be on a very steady growth trajectory of new players.
Ideally, sure.
But it's not like, barricades are out of stock. Barricada. It's not like dice are out of stock. It's not like Veers is out of stock. And it cripples your ability to buy into the game to put an 800-point army together.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually, just before the episode, I went and pulled from our distributor to see what we can actually order into the store. This is regardless of what your local store might actually still have on the shelves, but this is what can be ordered today from Alliance, which is the distributor for Fantasy Flight Games and Asmodee. But basically what we can get a hold of, you can still get core sets. So new people can get into the game that way, and I know there was a couple of guys discussing, Reddit pages, I guess, where people are going in and still doing double core swaps. You're losing out on impact grenades and stuff, which I think is kind of lame, but you can get started that way. Dice packs are available. T-47 airspeeders. Shocking. Exactly, not Josh. Yeah. Veers is very limited supply, but he's still in stock at one of the main warehouses. Priority supplies, luckily, is still available at 3 out of 4. Barricades are available. Shocking, again.
I know, right?
Han and Rebel Commandos, which I don't expect to last very long, just
Probably
based
not.
on how popular the Commandos are going to be.
Because people are going to want to run 3 sniper teams.
Yeah.
So that's going to cause a rush on them. But again, that's not a unit that's needed to play the game.
No, you're right. And then game mats. Do you want to hear all the stuff that's out of stock?
No, because I know what exactly.
Yeah. So
process of elimination. All the stuff you need to play the game.
Yeah.
So range rulers are all out. The expansion packs, because I know I snapped 1 or 2 of mine. So that would have been nice. ATSTs, so kind of a flagship unit there. Anything with trooper in the name, basically. So snow troopers, fleet troopers, rebel troopers, storm troopers. Leia, ATRTs, and bikes.
I mean, that's literally the 4 core units, and I mean that as CORE and CORPS, that you need to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sorry, but buying 2 core sets and trying to trade out of it, or buying a core set and trying to find somebody to trade and swap. If I'm a new player, and I casually walk into your store and I say, "Hey, how do I play this game?" and you go, "Well, you got to buy 2 core sets." See ya. Because as a new player to a brand new game, that just to me, not knowing anything about anything, that tells me that company, I am not getting involved in that mess. And I'm not gonna. This isn't a trash FFG session.
No,
but it's really, really concerning that stuff is just out of stock. You can say, okay, sure, maybe they couldn't predict how popular the game would be. They had the same thing happen with Destiny. So I don't think you can really say, well, they didn't know. I
have a little bit of insight on this. I'm just making sure that I've got my...
it worries me. it really, really worries me that what's going to happen when we add factions 3 and 4, and you're still going off of the same supply line that can't keep 15 units in stock. There's 15 units in this game right now. It's not like, and talking about this on Discord with a lot of guys today, people are like, well, GW has production hiccups all the time. GW literally has hundreds of units across 30 armies across 2 games that they're trying to keep in stock.
More than that.
Yeah, well, you're right. I'm being conservative here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
15 units. And 2 of those units you can't even buy off the shelf. They only come in the core set in Vader and Luke. I don't think it's a big ask to ask for 13 units for a game to be available at a game store 5 months after release. I'm concerned.
Okay, so my background on this is I attend GAMA each year, which is a game trade retailers conference for store owners and industry folk and game manufacturers. We all get together, we talk about stuff. It's great. One of the panels I always hit up is Fantasy Flight, obviously. This last year, I think it was February we were up there. Yeah, because it was just before March. So we were addressed by Andre Kieran, who had come over from GW North America, and basically, paraphrasing obviously here, the guy that was doing their previous production schedule was no longer doing that, and that it would be ramping up to fill the gap on Legion stuff. They already anticipated there was going to be a gap in production. I was talking to my business partner, Jarrett, who has a background in manufacturing processes, especially relating to China, because he has dealt with that. And the things that they had said that they were going to be filling to implement, I was like, has enough time gone by that those plans could have been implemented and we should be seeing the effects of that? And his opinion was, yes, we should have already seen like reproduction of the units that they knew they were speculating they're going to be short of. Now, whether it's because they were selling even further than they were expecting, or it sounds like there might be some issues going on with this whole sale of Asmodee as well. So maybe they're keeping their productions low to make it look better.
Sure, because nobody wants to...
This is all speculation.
Sure. I mean, all of this is speculation.
Yeah. I mean, and from the business perspective of it, if they're looking at selling the company, they don't want to go through and produce a whole load of stock of something.
Sure.
Because that's not going to be very lucrative. Nobody wants to buy into,
you don't want to have like all your assets and stuff just sitting on the shelves.
Exactly. So, could they be trying to build popularity through scarcity? I mean, that could be another theory, although...
I don't think it's ever worked out for them in the past, but...
Right? I mean, look at Destiny.
Yeah.
When Destiny came out, there was a big run on everything, and that pretty much flatlined the game.
Yeah.
It was on a very steep growth curve when it first came out. They ran out of that first stuff. They said, well, we don't know when we're going to print it, and everybody was like, well...
Yeah, there was a period I was demoing games and not being able to sell them starters or anything.
Right. It's just... you want to be in a solid, for the first year, you want to be in a solid upwards growth, right?
Sure.
At least. You're not there. I mean, literally, the fact that we haven't seen, and this isn't about us, this is about content providers everywhere. The fact that the numbers have flatlined for everybody means that, to me, there aren't new players coming to the game. You don't see people asking, hey, who are the good podcasts online? Hey, what are the good blogs, right? Those questions dried up months ago because there's not new people coming in
I would disagree with that. I have had a few people who I know who are into wargaming who've asked about Star Wars Legion. Is it worth getting into and things like that? And there is still interest.
What we might be seeing is the initial influx of people that are interested. The people that aren't going to stick with it are slowly fading away, and new people are replacing them maybe at a similar rate, so we're not seeing a lot of variation and growth there.
But it's still not growth. And that's the thing.
And it might eventually catch up until we have another major release like the Clone Wars era stuff.
I mean, but I mean, I talked to, I think, 4 or 5 other content creators today, and I just asked them, I'm like, what do your numbers look like? Are you seeing growth? And they're like, no. And it all leveled off everybody's, and talking to them independently, right? Yeah. It all leveled off all at the same time. Right around end of April, beginning of May.
Yeah. Okay.
And
when everything ran out. I'm just saying. I mean...
Well, honestly, some of the troopers were running out before then. So
from what we heard talking to Luke and Alex, it sounds like they've got a a pretty good plan of steady releases.
Mm-hmm.
Not throwing a ton of stuff out at once, and monthly. It could be a little bit more quickly than that, but it seems like there is a plan ahead, and I don't think what they're doing right now is bad, other than supply. Meet the demand with their supply.
But they're not. I
don't
don't think they are.
I think they're keenly aware of that as well. Too,
yeah, but now, I mean, we've seen that monthly production schedule disrupted because rumor that I started hearing this week is that
emphasis on rumor.
Rumor, absolutely, is that Boba Fett and Scouts are now pushed back a month to allow for reprints of all of those things that you mentioned are not in print.
So like the trooper kits and things
right.
like that. I mean, is that not a good thing, though?
Is it? I don't know.
We love having the new shiny, but if you want to get new people
involved. But it depends on, looping back to what we were talking about before the break, does it end up imbalancing things to not have like for like? If it's now 2 months that Imperial players are going to go without having snipers and watching Veers die.
Is there any major tournaments coming up for this?
Nova.
Oh, Nova.
Oh, yeah.
Adepticon, I don't think, is too far behind that.
Oh, wait, no, we already did Adepticon this year, didn't we?
Gen Con. What? No.
Gen Con. They just had Gen
Adepticon,
Con.
whichever one is the one that does the last qualifier before Worlds.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Adepticon.
Sorry, I don't know.
I think it is Adepticon.
That wasn't
yeah, it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
They had ATC recently, but that's more of a 40K event.
I'm not sure. It might be
Anyways,
longer.
here nor there.
I don't think that Han and Troopers or Commandos are going to be legal for Nova because it's next weekend and it's 11 days from the street date. So I don't think they're going to be legal for Nova.
Okay.
If they're running that as a premier event, that's fine. But still, I mean, if you have players that are like, oh, I've got to sit here for 2 months and watch my Veers get shot off the board from across the table with no chance to counter battery that unless I bring a 230-point ATST.
And just to clarify, dates for Adepticon 2019 are March 27th through the 31st.
Okay, so that's not an issue.
Next year.
After
LVO.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm trying to go to that one. So
yeah.
That's what I was...
Yeah, but, all of these things are interrelated. And
sure.
I could, we could just say stay steady until everything gets back in gear. And this is a small hiccup, right? Games have died for less.
Yeah. Well, luckily we're not seeing the absolute drought that was the Armada release.
Oh, sure. Right.
We are getting new units. Sure, we'd all love them faster, but yeah, hopefully they'll be able to catch up. I'd love to see if we can talk to Fantasy about maybe get one of their production guys on here.
I'd like to see how many of their production lines are shared across properties.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's, Rune Wars, same kind of property as Legion, has a bunch of stuff on pre-order right now, getting ready to go to the printers also. We have seen locally Rune Wars not be very successful. Let's just couch it very diplomatically.
You are going to infuriate the Rune Wars
absolutely
fandom by
all three of them.
Yeah,
all three of them.
All of them named Luis in France. And,
right, but what Rune Wars doesn't have going for them that Legion does is the IP. Like they have the intellectual property that's Star Wars. Rune Wars doesn't have that.
Sure, but if we're sitting here waiting for basic units that could be growing a large property because they've got a factory that's doing 2 lines of IP, Star Wars and Rune Wars, for a game that is not nearly going to make them anywhere near the amount of money that Legion could, that's a very questionable business decision. I mean, that's stepping over nickels to pick up pennies. Okay?
I'm not going to disagree with you that there needs to be something changed within their distribution model. However, I don't think that's necessarily a reflection of the game, the state of the game itself. Now, talking with LJ from the Tabletop Simulator League, he seemed really optimistic. He spoke about how he saw growth and how he's seen more people joining for season 2 than it was just for season 1.
Absolutely, but you don't need anything other than a computer to play that. But the game itself is great.
It maintains interest in the game, is what I'm saying.
It does.
So if we're seeing that, FFG needs to catch up to the demand. Absolutely.
Right.
But I don't think we're seeing the interest waning.
Yeah. No, but it's not. It's growing, but games like Legion thrive on the local game store experience.
Yeah, we're kind of at the stage where your local meta's got to be kind of championing the game right now.
Right.
And,
but, I mean...
oh, what are you guys playing? Hey, dude, come check it out. We're playing Star Wars, man. We're pew-pewing each other.
So since May, when everything's leveled off, how's turnout been to events for Legion at the local level?
It has been great, and we've actually had to look at retooling. We just did an open house last Saturday, which neither of you guys made it to.
There were a lot of other things going on.
Dude, you were here doing other stuff. We had a lot of events going that day. But actually, it turned out to be pretty successful. We made contact with some guys that hadn't played in a while that were heavily involved in X-Wing. It looks like they're going to be coming back and playing some. We found 1 or 2 new players. So one of the guys showed up tonight for our casual get-together. He's getting another demo in. So then this is what I'm saying. We're at the kind of the community phase. You've got to grow excitement at your local level. I know one of our guys that used to be out here, Joe, we talk to quite a bit still. He's having horrible times trying to find people interested in New Mexico.
Because he lives in Clovis, New Mexico, where there's literally
that is fair.
150 people who don't live on the Air Force
might be
Base
cut
in
out
the
for
town.
him. We have, a couple million people here in the
2
Las
million
Vegas
people.
area.
Yeah.
We should be able to find Star Wars players. So especially people coming to a game store. Hey, what's this about? Talk it up. Get people involved. Try to run events. Push the core sets.
But I mean, that's where it is. It's like, what's this? Star Wars Legion. Come on back in 2 months when we get restocks and come play.
That feels real bad.
You know, that's bad, man.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
So, and to kind of couch into something you were talking about earlier is, why can't they axe one supply and then bring up another one? So I'm not sure this is the case here, but we've had, from a previous Gamma, there was a big X-Wing shortage. I'm sure you remember in its infancy.
K-Wings couldn't find them for
a long time. Y-Wings,
people were selling
Falcons.
People were selling, not just offering, selling K-Wings online for like $150, and people were buying them.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely. But so we got talked to by Fantasy Flight about that as well, and the problem they were having was finding factories that were able to turn out the quality that they needed for their games, especially, it's even more exacerbated with X-Wing because they're all pre-painted and nice looking and very high quality.
Right.
They might be having a similar issue here. They just don't have factories, or the ones they do have are dedicated to something else. And I know retooling machines to turn out different products than what we had slated is an expensive process. So
I'm not going to sit here and claim to be an expert on FFG's production.
But he did stay at a Holiday Inn last night.
But I did. That's because
Dr. Josh.
That's because I got kicked out of my normal residence. No,
La Quinta?
Yeah. But it just irks me as a player, and perception is reality. Mm-hmm. When I see a Star Wars IP completely out of product, nothing on the horizon, and hey, we're at the printers for Rune Wars. Priorities are in the wrong place, man. Mm-hmm. To me,
okay, that's fair. I mean, it maybe feels bad, man, but
you got to know where your bread's buttered, right? I mean, and Rune Wars ain't paying the bills. Sorry.
Well, you don't know. You don't know what they have.
We don't know what their business model is. We don't know what where their earnings are coming from. So that's something that hopefully we can get somebody in the know from FFG on there.
We should reach out and see if anybody wants to speak on that, but.
I would be very surprised if anybody agreed to come on and talk about production difficulties and things like that.
They've generally always been forthcoming when we asked at the Gamma conference. So.
Asking in a private thing amongst game retailers.
Oh, there's nothing private about Gamma.
Well, you know what I mean.
People are live streaming.
It's about
all
your
of
audience.
The content.
You're not going to sit there and go in front of your player base on a podcast and say, "Yeah, we screwed that up."
But legitimately, when your player base has a question about your dedication to meeting the demand, they probably have some level of interest in answering that question.
Right, and honestly, I'm not interested if they do want to come on.
Yeah.
If they do want to come on and talk about it, I'd love to. I'm not. We're not going to sit here and put their feet to the fire about where they screwed up. I just want to know how they're going to fix it.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
And it could be
where,
we did spin out all these X amount of extra units. We blew through those way faster than we anticipated. We've got new production orders going out like crazy, and we're doing our best. We have expectations, blah blah.
Yeah.
So,
assure me that a year down the road, when Separatists come out, we're not going to be looking at empty holes on the shelves where B1 battle droid expansions are supposed to be.
all 500 of them.
Well, I better pre-order ahead of time.
Yeah, guys, pre-order with your local game store because that helps them lock in the numbers they need to order to make sure everybody is taken care of.
I'm sure FFG, to a point, doesn't mind because, hey, look, we sold out of everything. Selling out of all of your product is never a bad thing.
But I'd like to have a little bit left over. That's how I order for my shelves is I look at what people are ordering, what I think is going to be really good, and then I go maybe 10% above that.
So the lack of stormtroopers here is your fault.
I mean, I ordered stormtroopers like crazy until they stopped selling them to me. So we had stormtroopers a lot longer than a lot of places until the very end.
Well, on the bright side, we're not seeing a lot of resale on eBay. If you go on eBay, you're not seeing, people selling off their kits, which would, that would be an indication that like people are trying to get out of this game.
Well, and I mean, and that goes to like what LJ was saying last week. They're great models.
Yeah,
absolutely. What people are using them for to make dioramas are great. So just because they're not being resold doesn't necessarily mean that the people are still playing the game. They may have just gone and made a nice, pretty display table in their house with them.
Which is literally what my Imperial forces have done
since
day one.
But anyways, anybody have anything else to offer on that?
You can take his shock collar off. I think he's all right.
You did very well,
I did not rant. I did not scream and yell.
We can take it off.
Quite reasonable, sir.
I made it. I did it.
But hey,
on.
what do you guys think? Are you guys having issues getting new players into your metas?
I mean...
I'm not asking you guys.
We're asking our viewers.
Oh,
yeah. So let us know.
You are our meta. So.
And yes, I mean, honestly, from the discussion on Discord, I mean, the slowdown and the leveling off that you've seen here in the store is happening just about everywhere because everywhere has the same problem.
Hopefully, they're all taking steps to address that as well and revitalize it.
But it's a tough time right now, though. I mean, you
saw
X-Wing 2.0 drop off. That took a
yeah,
lot of
I
Star
mean,
Wars.
and that
That's a
did
real
it
thing.
too. I mean, there's a lot of. We're at this point because of a confluence of a lot of really suboptimal circumstances. Just put it that way. There's my public relations training coming into effect.
I like it.
There's a lot. There's a lot to it. But on the other hand, all of those things are things that were under FFG's control. Nobody made FFG announce X-Wing 2.0 a month and a half after Legion launched and suck players back into the X-Wing sphere. So it's a lot of unforced errors, if we're going to use Ted's terminology.
That's fair. But it's still, their release schedule is somewhat, been, I don't know, on schedule for the most part.
Right, sure. And, I mean, if anybody's played
We've
X-Wing,
got Commandos and Han today. So.
I'm happy. I have a hard time complaining right now because I got Han and the Commandos sitting right here.
We got new toys.
So.
Hey, don't knock over my guys. He just
Troopers.
lashed out with his anger to strike down
what happens when you take his
Commandos.
shock collar off.
Yeah.
I took it out.
We relaxed our guard for 1 second.
I killed the aliens.
Oh, Pruneface. No.
Oh, Pruneface. And Han is left standing because of his uncanny luck.
Oh, that's funny.
That's right. He'll come back in syndication.
Pruneface is going to have two eye patches now.
How's he going to shoot? Can't he just get like the Geordie LaForge vision
that'd be
bar?
cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today. You guys have anything else you want to talk about?
No, just let us know if what you guys think. I mean, I think this is a conversation that as a community kind of needs to be had.
Yeah.
And we're not looking to throw shade at anybody or drag anybody here, but I think as a community, it's important to say, hey, this is what we see.
We love your game. Please give us more.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and Alex Davies on the Legion Facebook group, Luke Eddy's on there, so they see it. So I think this is a chance for us as a community to kind of let them know, like, hey, we noticed this, and I know they know.
Positive and constructive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have all the numbers, but.
And hey, in a week where we saw Games Workshop and Forge World royally anger their whole entire fan
what happened?
base.
I mean, it's Forge World.
I'll
so,
give you
$1,000 models.
The down and dirty quick. Basically, Forge World went from being a British pound only market to which actually was okay because you were after Brexit especially the pound went down. exchange rates were fairly favorable, and you were only paying basically what the exchange rate translated through your bank.
Yeah.
Well, Games Workshop was like, oh, look, Forge World's going to start distributing locally from U.S. From U.S. things, so the shipping will be faster.
Yeah.
But what they decided to do was then change all of their price points to the local currency and add a 20% markup to it for the U.S., almost 40% for New Zealand and Australia.
So now
I heard they were not having a good day down there.
Oh, no, they were having a
not good day,
a
mate,
bad
at
day.
So now Titans are $1,200 instead of $1,000.
Literally,
that's ridiculous.
The price for a Warlord
bad.
Titan went from $1,600 2 days ago to $2,000 even today. So $400 jump.
Who's spending money on these things?
People.
Well,
who has that kind of money?
And that goes
People
into
that can
whole,
afford to play miniature toy soldier games.
Yeah, so that's
and
a whole.
buy Superstar Destroyer expansions.
But yeah, they upset their fan base quite a bit. So you know what? FFG looks pretty good right now.
Didn't they try to like spin it with some role play or something like that? Oh, the factory trolls are like throwing stuff around.
The like call them like supply-omancers or something like that. Yeah.
Man.
So
Yeah.
So you know what? Honestly, FFG could be in worse shoes right now.
That's fair. There's problems throughout the industry.
Okay,
Let's
if people
put it
are
like
mad about your $1,000 units, you don't care. Because you're selling $1,000 units.
Well, that's a whole different business model that
Yeah.
I don't even want to touch.
Bespoke resin models.
Right.
Yeah.
That you still have to wash and heat warp and put in vices to assemble. Oh, that's a whole thing. Resin's a nightmare. Anyway, guys, that'll pretty much wrap it up for today before we start getting off on another tangent. We will catch you guys next week.
You've been listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network.
Only now, at the end, do you understand?
For more from the Outriders, make sure you like us on Twitter at Legion Outriders, subscribe to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Legion Outriders, and make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this